It can be hard to grasp just how large our universe is and how tiny we are in comparison. Take a look at our surrounding solar system with a massive sun at its core and the orbiting planets zipping around and around. For humans to set foot on our Mars, our neighboring planet, would be a massive achievement. But zoom out further, and you'll see that our solar system is just a tiny dot in the much larger Milky Way galaxy, which is made up of anywhere between 200 and 400 billion stars similar to our Sun.
The Earth is a planet that goes around our sun, but the sun is so much bigger than the Earth. It's like 1,000,000 times bigger than the Earth. 99% of the stuff in our solar system is just the sun. So the Earth is like this tiniest little dot going around a massive fireball. And then the sun itself is just one of hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy. So you look around you and all those stars in the night sky, each one of them is like a sun. Each one has planets around it, we think.
That's Dr. Daniel Whiteson, a professor of physics and astronomy at the University of California, Irvine, and the author of the new book, Frequently Asked Questions About the Universe.
Our galaxy is hundreds of billions of these stars, and it's like 100,000 light years across. Light travels super duper fast, 186 million miles per hour, and yet it would take 100,000 years for light to travel across our galaxy.
It's mind-boggling to wrap your head around just how much of a blip we are in the grand scale of time and space. The Milky Way is just one out of 200 billion galaxies in our universe. Whiteson says that despite the many decades of research and the numerous human and robotic missions to space, we haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to exploring the cosmos.
Essentially, we know almost nothing about the universe. While we have understood a little bit about the kind of matter that makes us up, atoms and the quarks and electrons that are inside them, we know now that that's a tiny fraction of what actually makes up the universe. That's 5% of the stuff in the universe. A whopping 25% of the universe is something else, something weird and new that we only recently discovered called dark matter. It's this new, weird, invisible kind of stuff that's out there. We don't know exactly what it's made out of, but we can sense that it's there because we feel its gravity. And that only adds up to 30% of the universe. 5% for the stuff we know and 25% for the dark matter. The other 70% of the universe is a really strange kind of energy called dark energy. It has nothing to do with dark matter other than the word dark, but it's pulling the universe apart. It's accelerating galaxies away from each other faster and faster every year.
As the universe evolves and expands, scientists on Earth are still asking basic questions, like where did the universe come from, or what is the bulk of it made out of? These questions are difficult to answer because we simply don't have the technology available to travel deep into this expanse.
Even the nearest star is almost 4 light years away, which sounds small compared to the size of the galaxy, but we can't travel anywhere near the speed of light, and so any reasonable trip there would take decades or hundreds or thousands of years just to get to the neighboring star. So everything is frustratingly far away. On the other hand, we're pretty good at inventing new stuff, and it's certainly possible that we could come up with some technology to shorten those distances. So rather than traveling from here to there through space, limited by the speed of light, we might be able to develop warp technology or wormholes to take shortcuts. That sounds like science fiction, but theoretical physics says it is actually possible to make a warp bubble and to compress the space between here and some other star so that you don't have to go through as much space. Or to build a wormhole, which is like a shortcut in space that connects two parts of space that are otherwise really far apart, that you can just sort of like step through a portal to get there.
Wormholes and warp drives sound like phrases we commonly hear of in sci-fi movies, like Star Trek or Interstellar. But Whiteson says that some of the craziest ideas in these action, sci-fi movies or books do eventually work their way down into the minds of physicists and engineers. In a broader sense, these mediums also encourage people to want to learn more about space.
I love movies like that because they get people excited about science. They touch on people's curiosity and a sense of wonder about how weird and incredible and beautiful and strange the universe is.
Another blockbuster space movie is The Martian, which was adapted from the sci-fi novel of the same name. It follows the storyline of an astronaut who's stranded on Mars and trying to send a signal back to Earth saying he's alive. NASA actually collaborated with filmmakers to help create more accurate depictions and promote greater space exploration. If you've seen the movie, the sweeping landscapes of the red planet and the difficult journey through space are incredibly inspiring. It makes you wonder if humans will one day inhabit Mars. But Whiteson says, slow down. Mars is a neighboring planet, but that doesn't make it a great option for sustaining life.
You'd be much cozier having a picnic on Antarctica than you would on Mars, where it's much less pleasant to hang out. So in order for Mars to be somewhere that you could like walk around on and, take deep breaths of warm air, you'd need a lot of things. First of all, you'd need an atmosphere. Mars is super cold because it doesn't have enough carbon dioxide. Here on Earth, we're really worried about having too much CO2 because it warms up our planet. Mars is super cold because it doesn't have enough of a CO2 blanket to keep it warm. So you need to get a lot of CO2 to build up in the Martian atmosphere. The problem is you get so much CO2 it might be poisonous for humans. So then you need to add oxygen, which might take millions or billions of years. And you also need to add a magnetic field to protect us from cosmic radiation. So it's a massive project.
The task of making Mars livable would require many advancements in technology, and the cost would total trillions and trillions of dollars. Whiteson says this large-scale transformation of the planet wouldn't be possible anytime soon. Scientists today are still grappling with the challenges of sending a few humans to Mars. At the planet's shortest distance from Earth, it's 33.9 million miles away, and a one-way trip would take about 7 months. It would be much easier to send another exploratory robot that doesn't need food, water, or medication.
We have human science, human space exploration, where we're sending people to the moon or to Mars, whatever. Those are very difficult projects. And then we have robotic scientific exploration, where we can send robots all the way to Pluto or down into the sun or basically anywhere in the solar system. And so dollar for dollar, sending robots and telescopes and observatories into space is much more effective in terms of learning things about the universe and unraveling the mysteries of our solar system. But there's a special sort of romance and excitement about sending people into space because people think of that as like maybe the future of humanity, getting off of this rock so that if an asteroid hits, for example, we have another basket where we put our eggs. But because Mars is still so far away and our rockets are still pretty slow, it would take you months and months to get there.
The race to send astronauts to Mars is already underway, with NASA prepping for the mission sometime between 2030 and 2040. The universe poses endless questions, but these questions help put into perspective just how beautiful and strange our surroundings are. To find out more about space exploration and our guest, Dr. Daniel Whiteson, visit viewpointsradio.org. For more behind the scenes, search Viewpoints Radio on Twitter and Facebook. This segment was written and produced by Amira Zaveri. Studio production by Jason Dickey. I'm Marty Peterson.
Viewpoints returns in just a moment.
Flu season is here, and flu is similar enough to COVID-19 to create dangerous confusion. SARS-CoV-2 can result in more serious illness, but initial symptoms are often similar: fever and chills, a cough, runny nose, and shortness of breath. COVID-19 seems to spread more easily than flu, and people are often contagious longer. Dr. Manoj Gandhi, Senior Medical Director at Thermo Fisher Scientific, says, unfortunately, you can't tell the difference by symptoms alone.
Simultaneous testing for SARS-CoV-2 and influenza viruses is essential. Multiplex PCR technology allows for testing of multiple viruses and co-infections at the same time, which provides proper diagnosis, reduces transmission of COVID-19, monitors the spread of both COVID-19 and flu, and saves valuable testing resources.
Multi-pathogen PCR testing helps drive swift and accurate treatment decisions to help simultaneously manage flu season and the COVID-19 pandemic. Find out more at thermofisher.com/COVID-flu information.
More than 80% of people say that vision is the most important sense. So why do about half of us skip our annual eye exam? Dr. Valerie Sheedy-Pallone, optometrist and Vice President of Eye Care Solutions at VSP Vision Care, shares why you should book a comprehensive eye exam, even if your eyes feel fine.
Comprehensive eye exams are more than just visual correction. They can also help detect signs of underlying chronic health conditions like diabetes, which show no obvious symptoms, especially in its early stages, which is why catching these diseases sooner with the help of an eye exam is so crucial. Your eye doctor can tell you more about your overall health than you may ever know. We do that by dilating your pupils or using non-invasive technology to look at the blood vessels in the back of your eye.
VSP Vision Care is the only not-for-profit vision benefits company in the U.S. and has been a leader in health-focused vision care. Schedule a comprehensive eye exam with an eye doctor today. It's easy to find one near you at vsp.com. That's vsp.com.
And that's Viewpoints for this week. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to learn more about upcoming shows and find a library of past programs on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Plus, you'll always find previous segments and more information about our guests at viewpointsradio.org. Join us again next week for another edition of Viewpoints. Coming up next week.
This is an invisible population nationwide. It's a swelling population. This is America.
Soaring housing prices are driving more and more people into homelessness. Then,
control is an illusion. Companies offer some choices, but they don't offer choices like stop surveilling me.
The digital privacy conundrum. I'm Marty Peterson.
and I'm Gary Price. These stories in depth on your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.